Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sister is a narrative VR shooter set in the dark future of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Every corner of the galaxy is at war, and the forces of evil are trying to destroy humanity. What's really unique about this game on Oculus Quest is that it's the world of Warhammer 40,000 brought to jaw-dropping, visceral reality for the first time in VR.
We set out to tell a human story within what is a very inhuman world. The inspiration around the story was really the Adeptus Sororitas themselves. You know, they're strong women. They rely on each other in life and death situations.
We wanted to build levels which were much bigger than any levels we'd built before. We wanted to really embrace 6th degree of freedom, free movement. We wanted the players to be able to explore this really amazing 40k universe.
Everything is huge and old and heavy, and we wanted to try and capture that within our environments. And what you've got is Dreadclaws slamming into the ground from orbit, Imperial Knights striding across the battlefield, rhinos that are pulling across as well, and your sense of being small in this massive universe.
Because we're working with a VR shooter, which is a fantastic immersive experience, we have to be in a situation where you want to be fully in the game, and the best way that we decided to do that was with something we call push forward combat. It's very like you're in their face and you're aggressive, and it really feels like that true authentic 40k experience. We've got our acts of faith, which are gesture-controlled things. So, for example, if you're being surrounded by cultists, you can do a push motion. We have, it's basically a bullet time. You slow everything down, where you're like, da 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 da.
So 40k characters were a lot of fun to bring to life. I think from a high poly, high sculpting background, you want everything as visually as good looking as possible. So some of the specifics I considered was like deep battle scars, cuts, bruises, the grunge in the skin textures and dirt, because I wanted those characters feel like they were 40k characters.
Ophelia is our main character, she's the player character, and she is sort of a veteran of the Adeptus Sororitas. What I write on the page doesn't really come to life until an actor gets it in their hands and they do their sort of take on it in their performance. All the actors totally committed to those characters.
It's always interesting to see the little idiosyncrasies that they bring to the performance, which normally would take, as an animator, would take me days to do, and they can just do it.
These performers have got these sort of white optical trackers on their faces, which are recorded by cameras mounted on their heads. That goes through this pipeline, and it eventually ends up in our editor. This means that we can take all of this nuanced expression and put it into a much, much smaller file.
The most fun I've had animating a character on this game has probably been the Chaos Spawn. It's quite a unique character, so it has a crab-like claw and it's got an eye in the top of its head. It's quite disgusting.
There's so much lore, there's so many interesting characters and stories to tell.
So we've got this moment where you come up for the first time against a Terminator, and I really wanted that moment to be scary, because these things are huge and incredibly powerful, and you have to change your tactic. You can't just shoot at them, you can't just hit them with a sword, because they'll whack you away with their power fist.
It's challenging, but I think we're at a point now where we can safely say this is a Warhammer 40,000 bolter, and when you're shooting it, you feel and believe that.
And this game really pushes the limits of what we can do on Oculus Quest through open worlds, through numbers of enemies piling into you and shooting, the amount of effects we can do.
We're running on the same hardware as our last title, but I think visually we've gone past it so far.
The fact that the game runs as well as it does, looks as good as it does, and feels as good as it does. You can play this anywhere with the Oculus Quest. It's beautiful, it really is.